Yo, how's it going, everyone? We are live. Does everyone want to say hello? Good evening,
Oh,
anyone?
hello.
Hi.
Good
Hello.
evening. Hope you
Um,
all are well.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good
Yes.
morning if you're in certain places, or good night.
I
I don't know.
know. Actually, Lynn's in the chat. Lynn's in the chat. So it is what? Evening time? It's actually really freaking late for you, isn't it, Lynn?
Good evening, Lynn,
Oh,
specifically.
Yeah, Lynn only. Yeah, exactly. It's
God, I
9
haven't
p.m.
talked to Lynn in a
exactly.
long time. I hope Lynn, you're doing well.
He's
Talk to
yeah.
Lynn.
Mina says
I
hello,
haven't
Lynn.
talked to anybody in a while. It's been
True. It's been a hot second since we've seen a lot of you guys. It's Say Chat reunion, which is pretty cool. So we have people from season 1 and season 2 in here, which I'm actually really happy to see the blend of the seasons. It's going to be pretty cool. We're just going to talk general world v world things. So before we start, we might as well just ask people to give introductions, shamelessly plug because I know Chef's waiting for it. And
not waiting for it.
he's waiting for it. He just doesn't want to admit it. And go ahead and say what seasons you're in and stuff like that. Go ahead. We'll start with the chef because, why not start off with the plug master himself? Go ahead.
Well, okay, if you could not phrase it like that, I'd appreciate
the
it.
plug master, baby. You're
don't-
only good for plugging. That's all you're
Yeah,
good for.
Excuse me.
exactly.
Quietly, it's like straight. No, you're good for plugging. That's it. That's all you hear.
How dare yeah, I don't know. I'm Chef. I was on season 1 and 2. I do stuff about Guild Wars guides on YouTube, and then I just played whatever the heck I want over on Twitch. Is that it? Was I supposed to also like give ASL?
Got a plug too.
Yes. Yeah.
14 California. This is a very sophisticated VTuber I'm using.
Yeah,
And
true.
voice changer.
Wonderful.
I'm waiting for the sprite. I'm waiting for the sprite rig. Soon, TM.
The sprite rig is very TM right now.
Very TM.
Z, let's go ahead with you next. Say hello.
Hello, I'm Captain. I was from season 2.
Play the video.
We play the video games.
Yeah.
We play the video games. Who would like to go next? Kara?
Hi, I'm Kara. I also play the video. Probably not.
Wait, what is this like? No, you're supposed to hype yourself up. No.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
I play video
yeah.
games so much. I am the support player.
There you go. That's what I want to hear.
That's what it is. And if anybody's ever hanging head, I will.
Support you supportedly. Oh, nice. There we go. Okay, Kamina, you're the last one, my friend.
Yeah. I'm Kamina or Drew, whichever one you prefer. Season 1. I've been very MIA due to my disease. Almost killing me. A bunch of other bad things, but I am big gamer, and I overworld in PvP, and I like to build in Theorycraft.
True. Yeah, true. We were talking about that a little bit earlier, and since we were talking about that, we might as well just start off the podcast with kind of going into the World v World meta, if you guys are down, because there's been a lot of things that have changed in the past year since we've done the first Stay Chat episodes. I think, okay, so back when we did the first Stay Chat episode, which was literally probably like a year ago, pretty much a year ago, we were in the old meta where Firebrand was king, Druid hadn't been reworked yet, Scrapper hadn't been reworked yet, all those things hadn't been reworked yet. So what's been going on in the past year in terms of like World v World metas and balance and stuff like that you guys have like really distinctly noticed that have changed up the flavor and the rhythm of World versus World in any turn?
I think the biggest one was honestly the rewards patch. I think that one kind of,
Yeah.
at least for me, came out of nowhere, and I was not expecting a lot of the changes that
Mhm.
got put through that. But I know that at least personally, a weekly World versus World vendor was really high on my wish list for things to have in World v World, and it's really cool to have Dugan now as a way to completely skip the provisioner token grind for one, get extra Mystic Clovers out of World for two, get an infusion for three, and also just like have a dumping ground for all the currency that more advanced world players don't need anymore. Like
Yeah.
there's finally a emblem of the Avenger
Ooh.
dump. There's finally a tickets dump. It's been really, really good.
I call him my god because like I love him. It was one of the best updates. So,
I call him Dugan. I'm not really into like misidentifying people, but you can do whatever you want.
I love him too much.
I respect his name.
Dugan. Oh, Azira's in the chat too.
Big.
That's my standout though.
Big. I mean, okay, so why don't we go ahead and talk about the rewards and stuff then? What all did change with the reward system other than the weeklies? Because we have gotten a lot of different things. Like we've gotten tickets and participation. We've gotten those new chests.
Gambling.
Gambling.
Oh, the chests
The
are.
gambling.
Please,
loot boxes,
please.
right?
Why are we?
Loot boxes.
Let me just say that the chests are right here, right now. I mean, it's probably known. The chests are terrible. I hate them. I I don't know why. I still don't understand.
They're
why.
not worth the money you put into on the trading post, but that's okay. The bigger thing is that you just like get them for free for playing.
I mean,
Yeah.
You spend your marks of honor as like your thing to do for daily big spender, and then you get boxes from doing your weeklies. You just open them for free.
Yeah,
The
for you
keys
to
were a
get
little bit easier to get,
essentially
but-
nothing. Yeah, keys. The problem is the keys are just so hard to get.
I think it would have been sick if you could had like a super rare chance, like infusion level chance of getting a gift of battle to drop from them, so that you could
Ooh.
sell the boxes.
Oh,
to
that would
PvE
actually be
whales
big.
who don't actually want to do World versus World. It would keep the prices high forever.
That would be
And-
that'd be interesting.
And it would implement another way for people to get gifts of battle instead of grinding out World v World, because we know people love complaining about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we'd
Yeah,
rather
the-
put them gambling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gambling anyway, right? With the freaking ecto gambling and stuff like that. Easy.
I mean, I
Frickin-
did do that like yesterday.
Like the biggest problem is, it's imagine opening a box to get like
Junk?
absolutely nothing. Yeah, like
That's
just
what I
like you
get
get a
every
key
time.
Mm-hmm.
and it's just not worth it. Like I could understand if it was worth it to open it, or majority of it was worth it. Like there's a Reddit post that shows opening 500 boxes.
Oh,
No,
wow.
It's not
but, like,
very impressive looking. Yeah.
Guy who opens 500 boxes is spending a ridiculous amount of gold. Like to
That
be
is
clear,
Yeah.
when you're
so
talking about
much.
is it worth it? It is not worth it to buy boxes. From
well,
the
no,
trading
that
post.
specifically he's doing it to
Look at drop rates, do research,
he's looking at drop
stuff
rates,
like that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
But is it
It's
worth it
terrible.
to be like, oh, I'm not going to do my weeklies because boxes are bad loot? No, you're still going to do your weeklies.
I mean, yeah,
True.
it's
Well,
just-
that's for
it's-
more the gold than the boxes at that point, right? Because you
Exactly,
get
yeah.
8 gold for
is
that.
not nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
not. I did strikes for 45 minutes and made 16, but it's not nothing.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It is compared to what it was a year ago. That's like a huge buff in rewards for World v World players. Especially because that's on top of the reward tracks and the dailies and stuff like that, right? So, yeah, I mean, I kind of compared them to fractal encryptions. I kind of think that they were trying to implement something like that, except they took out all of the stuff that actually gave you gold from fractals.
Yeah.
So for
it-
some
Yeah.
reason,
boxes feel like
yeah.
like to me like a bastardized version of normal Black Lion chat.
Yeah.
Just with none of the cool rewards that you could possibly get.
I mean, you can get an infusion.
Yeah, but
You
that's
But,
can
like-
get an infusion. It's true.
You can.
Don't you want to get an
I could.
infusion?
Yeah.
no.
You ever gotten an infusion from a fractal box? Disclaimer:
Yeah.
I don't do fractals and
No.
don't know if
No.
you can actually get an infusion from a fractal box.
I got the liquid Aurelium infusion from a Zephyrite.
What the heck? Well, that's festival rewards. That's different.
Uh-huh.
I've only gotten a infusion drop, and it's the Ghostling infusion.
Oh,
And
I
that's
got that
literally
twice.
it's literally all I've ever gotten in drop infusion.
Sorry.
nice flex.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's
just
all
Casual
dude.
straight up
flex.
dunk on me. I got it twice. All right, depressed. I'm gonna just go cry in my bed over there.
Please
Just
no.
gonna go cry. Hold on.
I mean, I'm not like a Guild Wars economist. I don't actually know that anyone is a Guild Wars economist, but I feel like if you were going to put all the vendor junk in the World versus World boxes, put them in the Fractal boxes, that's just like a gigantic gold faucet, and it would probably contribute quite a bit to the gold inflation in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, by that logic, gold inflation is already there.
Well,
Like,
yes, we can observe this. You think about how
Yeah.
much it cost you to buy like a permanent bank contract. 2012.
yeah,
It
it's
was like 20 gold,
Oh wait, really?
and that was a lot
Yeah.
back then.
if
Mhm.
Ah,
gold
it's like
was getting
4,000
getting a
gold.
gold. Getting one
No.
gold was a
It was Herculean when the game released.
when you had to. I remember grinding for gold whenever like first came out. It was crazy.
You know what baffles me is that people would rather go and do meta trains for hours instead of go and do like World v World dailies or like Fractal dailies. I mean, maybe I'm just not a meta train enjoyer, but that just it seemed baffling to me. Do you make more gold in meta trains than you do in World v World then, combined with all
Yes.
the rewards and
Yes.
stuff like
Yeah.
that,
Yes.
reward
Yeah, you
tracks?
And also,
Not
they're
only that, and you
significantly
get to
easier.
and you get to turn your brain off as a
Yep.
say, right? Like,
so-
Also,
why do
yeah.
I need to go to
sometimes
World v World and I
absolutely
can just
true.
turn my brain off and just run a train and I can watch Netflix in the background and
Meta trains are also like basically solo. Yeah, there's 40 other people there, but those 40 people are not like actually coordinated
there.
and coherent as a group. It's just 40 people soloing in the same place.
Mhm.
And you can't do that with World versus.
Yeah.
Like you can't just walk up to a keep and find 40 other people randomly at a keep and go, "Oh, I'm taking this."
Yeah.
You actually
The
have
on-
to coordinate.
The only reason I was getting my dailies done very easily in World v World was because I was commanding, right? Like, because like I'd walk up to a tower, it's like I got to take this tower. Oh, like, especially if you're a new person, you're like, I don't have siege equipment, I don't have anything. It's like, well,
Mhm.
Yeah.
oops.
Or if you do
know?
a siege, it's like, blue siege. You need 6 people on to be able to build it.
True.
It's like, well, all right.
Yeah, so that's a problem.
I wonder.
But-
Well, let me ask you guys this question: how do you think they could change it in the future to make World v World a little bit more profitable for World v World players? Then maybe not exactly the same as PVE, because obviously it's not PVE. PVE's just lucrative in general with all the different meta events and stuff like that. But like, how would you guys personally tweak things so that World v World players saw more profit and more gold so that they can get armors and stuff like that if they really needed it? Not that the meta changes that much that they need to re-gear things, but it would be nice, right? For us World v World mains.
I feel the fire take brewing inside me.
That's the same. I feel
When
the
anyone
exact same
looks like
take
me
as Snap,
first.
like 100%.
Bring it. Bring
Yeah.
on the fire take.
You shouldn't. I don't think that you should change World versus World rewards to make them easier to do for the players who don't necessarily want to be there.
Well,
I
not
think World versus World is
necessarily.
at its best when it's populated by people who actually want to play World,
That's true.
and the rewards should be good enough that they're like somewhat economically viable for people who want to be there. But I don't think they should be so strong that people have absolutely no interest in any of World's mechanics
Hmm.
feel compelled to play the game mode. I'm loath to agree with Redditors, but I actually do think there should be another pathway to do a gift of battle, so that people who are only crafting a legendary don't actually have to come and clog queues and World.
I
It
agree.
doesn't really
No,
benefit anyone.
my thing though is that I agreed on majority of the sentiment, but I think that it should be equal. There should be no reason that if I enjoy World v World and want to play World v World, that I should get a basically reduced rate when I'm playing, especially PvP essentially,
Hmm.
and even PvP. It should be an equal rate. You should be able to choose whatever you like to play, and you guys should be earning the same amount. Hell, you could even make the argument that you'd be making more because got to put time and effort into World v World dailies and stuff comparatively to just turning your brain off and going and PvP farming. Like, at least that's my personal opinion. It should
Yeah.
be equal. There's no reason it should not be equal, or as close to equal as possible. Like, if you can be a gold or two off, and it's like whatever. But I think it's ridiculous that you're putting in so much more effort, especially to game modes that don't have the population as open world. And not only open world makes more money than the other PvP modes, but you're also having to do more to get that to get less. Essentially, is kind of ridiculous, at least in mine.
That's fair. Karazi, you guys want to pitch in on the conversation? Do you think rewards should be buffed, or what?
I'm kind of deaf on that. I like the like right now. I like the change.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, I can buy myself. But I also battle like gifted battles where you're like,
True.
well, this is a very terrible game. I don't want to try it, but I need battle things. Yes, I will.
I mean,
And a lot of people start playing, have fun.
Yeah, that's how I started playing World versus World. I was like, I want a legendary at some point, so I'm gonna go and do this gift of battle thing, and then I ended up sticking around for like years, right?
also the expansion too, right, is giving everyone armor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's not gift of battle, but it's like they're already giving everybody armor for now. It's gonna have an open world. They're gonna have raid, and they now have a world v world armor set. So I'm assuming there might even be weapons or something like that that might happen. I'm hoping like that'd be cool to do a pure just
Well,
world v world like legendary weapon.
Yeah, they do eventually need a legendary weapon set for World v World, I think. Like, it's got the
Yeah.
armor, it's got some of the trinkets. It'd be nice to have a complementary weapon.
I mean, okay, so I haven't made a Gen 3 legendary yet. Does it need a gift of battle to make a Gen 3 legendary? It doesn't, right?
No,
It just
Gen
needs
1s.
research notes and shit. Okay, so
You need
Yeah,
a
you don't
gift
need
of
gift of battle
glory,
for Gen
though.
1.
you need a gift of glory.
You're gonna need 250 minutes battle to.
But you can buy
Legendary.
those.
Yeah,
They're
you can buy 'em.
TPable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're a lot.
It used to be
They're
a
a lot.
lot more.
They used to be a lot more,
Dude,
but they
a
still,
year ago when I was playing like all the time before I got sick, I was gifted the stuff that you get, the currency, I forgot what it's called. That
It's a
you can
battle.
TP. Yeah, memories
Mhm.
of battle.
Maybe bad.
They were like 20 or even 30 silver. I looked yesterday and they were like what, 16?
Yeah, well, that's because you can buy 50 per week from Duke. Like,
Yeah, I
Memories
do
of
that. It's
Battle
so
last
nice.
month for 55 gold a stack.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice. I do like the new guy.
Yeah.
The memory of battle price is cratered.
So that's even more. It's like because you can get it, but then it's like people that were getting it to sell it. Because I know people when I was commanding, that were literally running and they were selling those things. It's like, oof, there's technically even more money now.
That was her.
Yeah.
account.
So it's like, oh, that's why I said before. I really wish that like even if you don't have to change anything, I like it. I just wish that no matter what game mode you play, you didn't feel like you're hampered. Or does that make any sense? Like I wish that like you
Mhm.
could. I wish that like I could log on to Guild Wars and go, what do I want to play today? And I don't feel like I'm not wasting my time. Essentially.
Yeah, I feel like World versus World is getting there with a lot of.
Yes, I,
It
I think it's
is.
getting there, but I don't think it's there
It
yet.
needs more. I think it needs a little bit more.
Do you think that buffing reward tracks would be a good way to do that so that people still need to play World versus World, but they can still get probably equivalent gold out of it? Or do you think there would be a better system in which they could implement kind of buffing the rewards to the point where it's like, hey, this is kind of equal with PvE now, like World versus Worlders can actually survive off of this type of reward system? Or what do you think? What do you think there?
Encouraging active play is probably the best route. Like, I like the weeklies more than I like reward tracks because you
Mhm.
actually have to play the game to do weeklies.
True.
Yeah,
You
I
can't just
agree.
sit in Armistice Bastion and drink potions and then make gold out of a reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
agree.
I prefer that, but I'm not sold on it if anyone wants to.
Did you like the change with the tickets then, where they added tickets to actual participation and stuff like that? Or are you
Loved it.
kind of
Oh,
against
totally
it?
loved it.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
100%. Yeah.
That was
Adding tickets and Grandmaster Mark Shards to heat flips was a huge change, and
That was
also
nice.
I haven't really like revisited in a month, but when that change came out, the biggest issue with gearing a character through World versus World exclusively in ascended items was that each piece of gear was like 50 gold because of how expensive memories of battle were.
Mhm.
Everything else you actually need to spend on ascended gear in World versus World is just time gated crap. So
Yep.
the lower the memory of battle price goes, the cheaper it gets to actually just fund an ascended gear set through the World versus World vendors specifically,
Yeah.
and it is all stat collectible, which is really, really nice. So if memories are down to like, 25 gold a stack, that basically means one piece of ascended armor is down to 25 gold a stack, which is not as cheap as getting it through like, strikes with shards or raids or anything like that, but it is nice.
Would you like to
Nicer.
see? Yeah, would you like to see it becoming equivalent to strikes, or does that really not matter to you?
I would, because I think one of the things that World versus does really well
Mm.
is makes it super easy to make a new character. You get all of your
Oh.
tomes of knowledge just from
True.
existing. You get
Yep.
all of your marks of heroism just from existing. So like if I want to make a new character, I go to Armistice Bastion, I eat 80 books, and I talk to the Heroics Notary for like 5 minutes, and I'm done. I've unlocked all of my elite professions.
Mhm.
I'm at level 80, and the only thing that's left is gear. I'm full legendary because I spend too much time in a world. But for people who aren't, the fact that you can take a character from brand new to 80 in
Mhm.
under an hour if you have a little bit of gold and a bunch of currency is really powerful.
It's
Like,
so
really, really
strong.
powerful.
Yeah.
It's so strong.
And that's what I was saying. It's because it's like you should. The way that I view it is that I love Guild Wars because like there's so many different avenues of gameplay that you can go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I play a lot of World v. World because I love the aspect of this, epics back in the day. Like I used to play Star Wars Galaxies, Dark Age of Camelot, and it's love it. But like you can go and play PvE, go play open world. You never have to touch raids. You never have to touch anything. And like I love that what they're doing, and I think it's just like I love that like I can go make a new character, and it's just I have him done ready to go. I just like I said, I just wish that it was I guess easy. It's like better for all game modes. Like no matter what you play, you should be able to get a character, get ready for that, and do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you spend most of your time open worlding, I do think you should have to do a hero point train to get a character ready. But my God, do I love not having to do trains
I
anymore.
mean, Hero
thank
Point. Well,
yes.
Hero Point trains though it depends. Like, are we talking like base game Hero Point train? Because that's a nightmare.
No, like the
No.
HOT
Yeah, that's
POF
funny. Yeah.
hero point people have to
Yeah.
do to achieve functionality on a new character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's fair because that's what you're doing for that
Yeah,
content.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
if you do PvP or world, you should not have to do that, and you don't, which is one of the big draws, at
Yes.
least for me, of World versus.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's fantastic.
Good point. I just bought X Pack. Like, oh, and a new shared inventory slot, but level 80, I somehow have to get rid of.
Oh my God! Right?
And I
Oh
forget
yeah.
it's even a valuable thing. I don't play a lot of World v. World.
It's a sad state of affairs when you actually just want to consume that boost to get the shared inventory slot. And you're like, I actually
Right?
don't care about another
Yeah,
level.
especially when you
It's
have
true.
all the classes
Yeah.
at 80 like I do, and
Yeah.
I don't like making like multiple of the same class. To be honest with you, I have 2 engineers, but that was because just I put so much into that character that I can't get rid of it, and I wanted to make an Asura, and I couldn't race change. So I was like,
I
all
see.
right, F.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
do I
you-
make a character
funny.
and like use that and then delete the character afterwards? Like, it's so dumb that you can't move that out of the slot. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's like, well,
You have to use it. They want you to. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
you will make a level 80
Sage.
character, and you will
Whether
like
you
it.
like
You
it or
get
not.
it.
And you're gonna get the new Celestial
Gear.
gear that you can't salvage.
Exactly.
Yeah, but at least like
throw
Celestial's
it
pretty
up.
good. It could be worse. They could put you in like
I
Sentinels
love
and be
Stella
like,
gear
"Oh,
is
I gotta
great.
get this."
I'm glad. I'm so glad they finally updated the old content gear that
What
you
did
would
they
get
give you
for-
before? Soldiers or something
Soldier's
like
gear.
that? Yeah, it was
Soldier's
so
gear,
bad.
yes. Soldier's
It
gear,
was so
baby.
bad.
That was so bad. I'm like, no
Gotta
one
get that
used-
toughness. I gotta go tank in this game. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Wait, where's my provoke? What happened to my provoke?
Oh my God. Yeah, I started playing the game back when they gave soldiers gear. And I think one of the first things that people told me to do after boosting was to change my gear. And that just shouldn't be the
Yeah.
case, right? Like at
That
least
should
now it's
not, no.
Selly. At least now it's Selly, and that
Selly
can
is
get me
still-
through
it's good.
content, right?
Selly's
good.
fantastic. Selly's fantastic. Hell, I
Yeah.
use Selly sometimes in Overworld.
Well, it's
It's good
broken
for
in
World v.
World v. World. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good.
Like, unless you're doing specific things where you need hot minute, where it's like tank stats, concentration, and healing power.
Minstrel?
Minstrels, yeah,
Minstrels?
yeah.
Isn't that Firebrand?
It's most.
It's
supports
any
these days.
support.
It's most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
especially if you're commanding, so you don't instantaneously blow up when you're
Yeah.
running into the like if you're commanding and you're in power gear. Let me
Ooh.
have fun with that one. But have fun being a commander in berserker gear.
In
You're gonna
5
have a
seconds,
great time.
You're gonna be 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, you're gonna be on the floor.
and then your group will scatter because Commander's dead
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
too.
Because obviously when the commander's dead, it's kind of like a chicken with his
Well,
head cut
yeah.
off. Everybody just goes.
Everyone just flee.
Exactly.
Just get
That
5
happens-
marks on you. Get 5 marks on you because there's a whole giant group
Oh.
of it, and then you just instantaneously explode, and you're like,
Yep.
wait, oop.
Oops.
It's always
Yeah,
fun.
I recently got
That
bullied
happens
into
a lot in
commanding
EVG.
in
I'm sorry.
Sentinel.
Hmm?
I was commanding in Selly on my warrior. Like up until about the last month, I finally got bullied into running full Sentinel.
And
But I did pretty well on Selly for a while. All of my
Yeah.
party supports are going to disagree. I think I did pretty
I mean,
Because your
Selly
supports
is.
for carrying you.
I think Selly is very good.
They know
'cause
what they got
it-
themselves into.
It's very much like a it works in a lot of different situations. Like it's not bad. You can command on Selly. It's just riskier, right?
Yeah.
It's just you're risking it. You're risking to get blown up.
That's what I was saying to Brian and Chad. It's a good all around stat.
It is. Yeah, it's true. And speaking of builds, since we were kind of talking about different varieties of builds and maybe not stats, we're in the middle of a beta right now for this new weapon system that we're getting here
Yeah.
pretty soon. And I know Kamina's been testing it out, but has anyone else like heard rumors about what's going to be good after we get these new weapon releases, or tried things out that they think is going to be freaking amazing, or even after the patch, like new Scourge, Chef? What is that looking like, right? Like what's going on in terms of that kind of stuff? Anyone have any opinions?
I can get to that. I'll let other people talk about it.
Okay.
Warhorn Ellie is gonna dominate World v. World. I mean, dude,
Warhorn Ellie?
Tempest is already amazing. That is
True.
probably one of my favorite World v. World things. So yeah, I mean, I already knew about this for a while.
Hey,
Um,
as someone who plays Tempest but doesn't know what a Warhorn looks like, tell me what it does.
What?
Sell it to me.
I
Is it just
mean,
like a tube
auras
that
and
you
boons
shoot
are just
through?
so good. Yeah, it's just super good. I mean, I have it on offset to my staff, and it's incredible. There's no reason not to have honestly,
Is this
unless you're using staff specific.
is it support Tim?
Yeah, I play support Tempest. I'm not. I don't know if you test. Yeah, like how do I describe it? Like, hold on.
Well, you do yourself. Brian in chat says it's a bigger shakeup than adding elite specs would be. How bad of a balance do you think this is going to be? Do
Oh,
you
I
think
mean,
we're going to see some truly unhinged builds? Do you think that ANET's going to be able to keep this reasonably under control?
yes and no. I'll
Reasonably
tell-
thinking things are going to need
I
to get
will-
tweaked.
I will tell you this right now, yes and no, because they literally just copy pasted,
Yep, I was about
Like,
to say that.
right? Like,
Mhm.
so the first thing I tested was I'm a Mechanist. Yes, I know, a World v. World player that likes Mechanist. I know, weird. I don't use it a ton in World v. World. Sad. I wish I could. The first thing I went was, oh hey, I could use Sword on Mechanist because I want to do this. I immediately booted into the beta, loaded into it, went, okay, I have a sword equipped. Realized that I need heat. Looked down at my bar and saw I have no heat gauge or anything. weapon doesn't do shit. Like it is just there, and it does. I think it's like so
Yep.
much less damage than even the hammer, which it isn't already crazy. You're not gonna want to do it. You don't see a lot of people running around with hammers. Like I know that hammer will probably be good on Hollowsmith, but Hollowsmith is just in great right now. Like that doesn't it doesn't mean anything. It's good. Like it's gonna do 40 plus K on whatever the hell you give it.
Mhm.
They don't even use sword half the time. I don't think. So yeah, like you're gonna
Yeah.
have cases where it's gonna be in like for example, I think that like Willbender's longbow is gonna be great on like
So gross.
it's gonna be disgusting. Like I
Yeah.
like it's gonna be wild. I think personally for my testing, I really, really like either dagger or dagger axe berserker.
Mhm.
It's gonna be so much fun. I don't know how it's gonna be I gotta test it tomorrow, with my raid group, but in PvP or roaming, it's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be crazy. I'm trying to think of another really big standout,
I
but
was
I've had a
also
lot of
thinking that,
busts.
like, if you play Firebrand and you slot Stoic Demeanor and you run Sank and Longbow and you babygate someone and then you drop a Sank on top of
Yep.
them,
Oh
does it just like
no.
generate infinite resistance? They pinball back and forth forever.
Are they
instead
gonna
of
be
Sank?
okay? I don't think.
No,
I don't think
they're
they
not
would
gonna
be
be
okay.
okay. No. But like then there's also problems where it's like, guys, yeah, like, oops, the scepter change does not like scepter does not work on D. It doesn't build malice at all. So I guess that's just it doesn't work and it's not unless you're going full support Deadeye, which I will be doing tomorrow as well. Test it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
But-
hearing about
Dying
your
to
tests.
support Deadeye.
Support
I mean-
Deadeye.
Support Deadeye? Oh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Full support Deadeye.
Guys, quickness Deadeye is actually pretty broken right now in
Like
PvE. It's
yes.
good. It's good.
Oh
Have
no,
they not-
quickness Deadeye is literally
not
the
fixed
most
that bug
broken
yet?
thing.
They
Where you always take stolen time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They have not fixed that yet?
no.
No.
Interesting.
Also, speaking of bugs, did you guys hear about the rev bug that was on release day of this patch? It was pretty big. Chef told me about it in World v World.
That
No.
bug was nothing
red
compared to
bug
how
was
fun
great.
Spellbreaker was on Tuesday night. Oh
Yeah.
my
Just
god.
all
What is
bugs.
it?
So the Spellbreaker had 2 bugs on Tuesday that were unfortunately patched. It was probably the most fun I've had in World like the last 6 months. The 2 bugs were when you used full count, inexplicably, you gave 30 seconds of quickness to everyone in your party. Never actually figured out what that one was. It was just kind of a thing that happened. And the second one was that anytime you triggered Enchantment Collapse, which is when you remove a boon from your target, you remove
Yep.
from additional targets. It would remove 10 boons from
Ooh.
additional targets instead of 1.
Oh,
So
no.
a
yeah,
single
be
enchantment
gone,
collapse would
Necro.
remove every boon from 5 people.
Be gone,
That's-
Necro. You are
And
absolutely.
The way it
Obsolete.
played out in practice, this VOD goes up next Wednesday on the VOD's channel. I played for it. The way it played out in practice was if you set foot inside of a dome, you just died. If you overcommitted on a
Yeah.
push by like 200,
Okay.
you died. If
Oh.
you got pushed on by an enemy group that was like twice your size and you were better at skill than they were, you lived and they died. It was ridiculously fun to crack groups bigger than you and also just to dumb push into a group that actually still had cooldowns and watch 15 people die on the spot. It was
Yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah.
I actually wish they would have kept that map.
Oh my! Could you imagine?
But that's broken.
It's
Theo.
so-
did any of you guys play when POF came out? Because when
Yeah.
No.
POF came out
No.
and Spellbreaker was that strong naturally, that was the meta. The positioning
Yes.
was so much more important.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
When Spellbreaker's win.
Spellbreaker is one of my favorite
a
classes
lethal
of all
kill.
time, especially as a fighting game player. Full counter is like one of my favorite skills ever. Like
Yeah.
it's really funny. I say this all the time. I love every single warrior specialization. Like,
Mhm.
every single one of them I love, but I don't play warrior. That's the funniest thing.
I loved
just
it.
don't. I
I'm
don't
not-
play warrior.
I'm not out here in Roy's DM saying like, "Oh, please bring the meta back." I was having so much fun. I understand why it had to go. I thought it was ridiculous.
Oh, it was 11 boons, and so it was probably someone hit a typo to
someone
one.
typoed it.
Oops.
It felt like the overall patch in general had some things that were really funky about the numbers, because that one was broken. The freaking Rev one, what the numbers were fudged on that too significantly. Like Druid seems like the numbers aren't quite there, although the implementation is also kind of rough
Oh
at the
boy,
moment.
yeah.
Like there's a lot of things it felt like where the numbers just weren't right. They just weren't right. And obviously these two were bugs, but hey, the other ones, like Druid, they need to do something about that. I don't know how good Druid is now in World v World. Maybe you guys know a little bit more about that, but
It's getting there from what I've seen.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing about World v World is yeah, when normally if people are arranging you
Mm-hmm.
and it's before you basically engaged, the druid can pop black because you're basically are taking damage, so you can go into astral and don't feel bad about it per se.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to like buff up and then sneak and then go at somebody, and you have a druid, you're like, well, I have to have Astral Force, and I have to blow all my Astral Force just to give the Alack. And that just feels horrible. That feels like, why are we doing this game? Like, who thought this was smart? Like, I just, I
They
don't
were
know.
like the whole but they mentioned that they wanted to prevent people playing builds that made it feel like it was very spicy. And
Mm-hmm.
then they edited the good to where you literally have to spam a button just to have alacrity. What are y'all doing? You're
Yeah.
literally
Carpal tunnel syndrome.
doing something. You've made it so they can't do anything else other than that one button just to give a little bit of alacrity. I
Uh,
just don't like
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
know that they just buffed it where they're like, yeah, the alacrity, uptime is more, but
but
that
that
still
doesn't fix
doesn't
it.
help the problem at that. You're just like, it might be good, like mathematically, it probably is good
But
because it's
playing
usable,
wise,
but
it's
you're
just
not gonna
like
want to play. You're not gonna want to play it.
And
it's
especially when your
yeah.
two competing
Competitors.
classes for Alack are Tempest, which is just you can have free alacrity when you overload, which you want to do anyway.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
all
Yeah.
the
And
time.
Chrono,
It's so
which is
easy
like
and natural.
drop a well and you give 15 seconds of Alack, and anytime you drop your shatters, which you want to do anyway, you give Alack, and anytime you summon a Phantasm, which you want to do anyway, you give Alack. It's harder to generate worse alacrity on Druid than the two classes it's competing with.
Yeah, and it's the
Alack
same.
Tempest feels fun when you do it. Like it's actually an interesting.
Yeah, it's
Not
also
like they made Druid's heal.
mhm.
I don't like the way they're trying to slot it in.
It's not. It's not the same.
And it's kind of weird because I was kind of trying to think about what they were trying to accomplish in terms of the druid changes, like what exactly they were directing it towards, whether it was like world versus world or PvE and stuff like that. And even in PvE, the change just doesn't seem to be enough, right? Because if you look at like raids or strikes, right, the main alack givers is Mechanist, because you send the bot off to the group and it can do all of the alack things while you're off the group doing whatever you need, right? And spirits kind of accomplished that at some point when the alack was on the spirits, but now they've changed the alack so it's only on CA, so you now have to be back on the group even though you can drop spirits from range, which is really cool. But yeah, I just I'm kind of wondering like what the changes were meant for. I guess it was more geared towards World v World and they need to do tweaking some more, but it was definitely interesting. It was interesting overall.
Tempest. Back to it. Like the Warhorn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to get the ability names again because I just forgot what their name. Like Sand Squall and Tidal Surge are just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like for Shaq. Like like both of those are incredibly good. Heatsink is incredible for might and spreading boons. Tidal Surge is Degen knocks people back. It's really good. Water Globe is incredibly good.
Mhm.
Dust Storm is it's okay. It's not like great, but like Sand Squall is amazing. Like every button that you want in here, you're pressing is really good. Like it feels, especially Heatsink. Heatsink helps a lot with spreading boots
Can I,
to
at the
everybody.
expense of everyone else here, ask a very about Tempest?
Sure.
Maybe
Sure.
like 2 people find it interesting. I swear we'll move off of it soon.
Yeah.
Is it so when you run Dagger Tempest, is water transmute on Dagger 4? Did you give up your
Oh, I
water
mean, to be
transmute
fair,
in order to run Warhorn?
I can't even answer this because I don't run Dagger. I've never run Dagger Tempest.
The only Dagger
shit, okay.
I've seen is in like PvP. Well, the only Dagger I've run is in like PvP, and that, yeah.
Do you run Dagger in World v World?
No, we
No,
run
no, no.
staff. I thought that
Yeah.
most people
Yeah.
were Dagger. Like I thought that was
Dagger's,
the
like,
meta
easier
build, and we were
build,
weird being on
but-
staff.
I mean,
you
no,
are,
I'm on
it
staff.
is,
I've been
but
on
we
staff
also run
forever.
staff.
I
You
mean,
have
I
any
only use
transmutes
staff
in Dagger
because
Warhorn then? Like, does Warhorn transmute anything?
I believe so. Because like I run staff, but that's because of my hands. Because swapping between everything as fast as possible was so much easier on Tempest with staff than it was with I think it was Dagger Warhorn. Because I don't know of any other thing that you would use particularly.
Like, I'm not the most expert Tempest out there, but I am pretty sure that transmutes are like the reason that core Tempest is like being able to transmute auras, the core part of the class.
Yes, of course.
I'm
I mean,
curious
yes.
what Warhorn lets you transmute if you're going to use it. I can look that up later. We don't have to get too distracted.
Yeah, that's fine. It's mostly just for the listeners, so that's why I wanted to go back to it because I just didn't want to be like, oh yeah, hold on, give me a second.
Yeah.
I don't remember the skill names because like I know it's good, but I just I don't particularly use it. I have it as a sub weapon in case like I want to go into a fight and I want to use Warhorn, but I don't go out of my way to do it.
Then let's talk about Scourge. Jeff, you said you would come back to it. I want to know. I want to know your thoughts, please.
Alacrity is pretty on Scourge. I actually don't think it's changed as much. Is my biggest takeaway from it. Your corrupts are like a bit worse, but they're still fine. Your damage profile is still fine.
Mm-hmm.
It seems in line with their goal this patch of just kind of reducing access to boon removal overall. But also, Azure is right. I think that when they were doing that boon rebalance, they completely forgot to look at Reaper.
Oh no.
Just one of the things they wanted to get rid of is boon,
Mm-hmm.
which is where like a boon strip is you have a stack of stab and then you stripped and now you don't have stab anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Boon corruption is you go from having a boon to having a condi. And boon corruption is particularly strong when you're talking about stability, because the
Mhm.
reason you run stability in world versus world is so that you can continue to control your character. It's not fun to play a game when you don't have any control over what your character is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And stability corrupts into fear, which is a condition that makes you lose control of your character. So they're cutting back on the number of corrupts that you have access to, which is good. They're just completely forgetting to look at Reaper's Greatsword 4, which corrupts 4 boons per pulse for 5 seconds. And I think in a meta where everyone else's strips have been nerfed except for Chrono, inexplicably, that's going to be unexceptionally strong. So that's what I'm excited about. And the best part is that with the weapon testing beta, just anyone can use Greatsword now.
True.
60%, 60 to 70% of why Reaper's good is actually just how good Greatsword is, with the corrupt on Greatsword 4 and the pull on Greatsword 5. And now you can just give it to a Scourge. It's going to be crazy.
Greatsword 4 with
Yeah,
Great
exactly.
Desert.
It's a zone where nobody is allowed to stand and live.
That's gonna be kind of
Nightfall
broken.
plus Breach is just die.
You're dead. Maybe we'll see what they do. They've already pushed out. Here's what we're gonna do on 18th.
I saw that they didn't mention Reaper at all, which I was
They
very
didn't
thrilled to
mention
see.
Reaper at all.
It's like they forgot it exists, which I am here for. That's what's new in Scourge, at least for me. I do
Yeah.
have one more thing I want to try, which is running Diviner Scourge. Power, Precision, Ferocity, and Concentration. and that might give you a pretty good mix of alacrity boon duration while not sacrificing any of your spike damage. The problem is that you drop vitality to do that, which is going to
Mhm.
make you a very, very free. You're going to take a lot of damage trying to run diviners.
I mean, it'll be interesting to test out all the different combinations now, I guess. Do you think it's going to
Yeah.
open up the meta and offer more build variety long term with all of these like different weapons that are going to be brought out and or not necessarily brought out because they have been brought out already, but unlocked for the different elite specs? Or do you think it might actually make it a little bit more suffocating in terms of this weapon is always going to be used no matter what elite spec on that class you're going to be playing type thing?
I think that people are correctly noticing the amount of build variance you're going to have from the
Mhm.
weapon change and also the rune change, which is the question I want to kick to the rest of the group so I don't
Runes
monopolize
and
all this time.
relics. Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of attention that people are paying to it, and I still think it's going to be a more powerful system than what people realize,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
especially the rune.
I was being quiet because I had to order food. So,
Ooh, dinner
So
time.
I'll preface this and then I'll kick it to the
Yeah.
group. The rune system for people who aren't up and up is currently the way runes work is you slot 6 runes, and then if all 6 runes are the same type, you get a set bonus. So there's kind of 2 decisions that you make when you're slotting runes. So what are the stats that I want, and what is the 6-piece bonus that I get? And it leads to uninteresting choices because you're kind of locked into those 2 things at the same time. So when the expansion comes out, what's going to happen is runes are going to be stats only, and then you're going to have an additional trinket slot called a relic slot, which is going to give you any set piece from any rune that you want. So they're basically becoming completely disconnected from one another. Runes only do stats, and relic only does the 6.
The one thing about this expansion, I'm incredibly
That
Mhm.
I honestly
more
think,
about the more even about than the weapons. It's like
Yep.
it's for me. I love build crafting. Like I will go out of my way to make things and try them even before like they get like patched and having access to now all the different like the 6-piece set and a lot of different things is like this would be cool. But I hate these stats because they give
Yep.
all toughness. Why am I gonna take this ever? I can't do anything
It's
with it.
true.
There
Mm-hmm.
are some
Now I can
crazy
take that
6-piece sets.
and I mean, granted, to be fair, same thing for the stats is it's always still gonna be are you playing Condi, you're gonna use this one. Gonna be um power, you're gonna just use the stat set. But the relic specifically is going to be crazy because you're gonna have very cool and different things. Like for example, like the one I can think of off the top of my head that I like to use back in the past was like something causes like I think on death, whenever an enemy dies near you, like causes like a death nova. And I
Mhm.
used to work with necro minions, but grabbing it was garbage. But like I can now grab the stats that I want and grab that. So doing like a bomber type of build is well, it might not be viable, but it's potentially there. Like and there's more potential than before where it's just I will never take this route ever because it's so bad. Why would I use it?
Yeah.
And that's incredibly exciting.
My hot take, my second hot take of the afternoon that I put to my other panelists as well as chat is that the relic system is actually going to be more powerful than the weapon master.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
100%. Especially if they add more, because that's the thing. I really hope that this gives them the ability to add more relics because they don't have to like tie it to stats.
Yep.
I really hope that that's where this is going.
It opens up extreme design space.
Because then you can go crazy with it, and then it's like I don't need a new weapon to feel like something that can potentially be
Mhm.
built around, right? Like hell, they could even buff the relics to make them build enablers potentially. Um, I really hope they go into this direction. I really do. I really hope on ANET will go that direction and really like go crazy with relics with the swapping. That's probably the one big thing I'm interested. Besides, I guess weapons going core, which is and to answer the previous thing, I don't really care if a class has a weapon. It like a spec has a specific weapon, that doesn't really bother. They have it, they do.
Mhm.
Especially when like nothing's changing, because they're still gonna have, if you pick the sword, an engineer, right? You still have to go into Holosmith to get the bonuses that tree. You're not gonna get it anywhere else, even if they fix the heat. So
True.
like, you're already getting that. It just you can use it on slap it. There you go. You can.
You think we're gonna see a legendary relic in the future?
Yes. I
Yes.
think that's going to be the compensation for the runes.
You think it's gonna be the compensation?
Yeah. If you go into the X-Pack with 6 of 6 legendary runes, this is not financial advice. Do not make 6 of 6 runes because I'm giving you this suggestion on stream. I'd be really surprised if that wasn't the compensation that they give people who made 6 of 6 legendary runes. They just say, here's your
legendary
free
relic.
legendary relic. Yeah.
I kind
Well-
of wonder about that because they didn't give any compensation for having multiple sets of legendary armor at all.
I mean, I know that
Well,
they
they said
they
they
said
would,
that
but
they
I
s-
was not
they
that
said
rich.
on Reddit. Ruby said on Reddit that they are going to do something for people. We just don't know what. They didn't say what or when or how. They just said it will happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have zero idea on how that's going.
Escher brings up an excellent point in chat, which is that maybe the reason we didn't get elite spec runes in EOD is because they knew they were going to introduce this relic system in the next expansion.
It's true. Yeah.
That's
That-
some
that
but-
makes-
but-
that
there.
makes
See,
sense. That makes
here's the
sense.
problem though: is that how long has cooking?
Years.
Probably a long time.
Hey, think about how long the Hidden Castle has existed in whatever.
Well, no, I'm not
it is.
talking about the
It's
Hidden
been
Castle. I'm
since
talking about like
release, man.
I don't think that was the case, to be honest with you. I think that like when they were coming up with what should we do about the next expansion, especially without there being we can't keep doing elite specs, that they came up with it. I don't think that this was pre-planned before EOD they were going.
No, I'm fully convinced that when John Anet invented Guild Wars 2 in 2011 or whatever,
Yeah,
he had plans
clearly.
for
He
this
came up with that?
specific expansion
Yeah.
in 2023. He's like,
Yeah,
"I'm gonna put a stupid
2012.
floating castle in one of these leveling zones, and people go nuts for 11 years trying to figure out what it is, and then we hit him with the X pack.
And then we hit it with the
Big.
next pack, and it's specifically going to give relics.
Yeah,
That it has
exactly.
to be, right? And that has to be only in that expansion. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, John Anet, what a game he made.
I would see, Azir. I would hate if they did elite spec relics. The reason I would hate it if they did elite spec relics is because then you would just fall into the same situation. Because realistically, the relic is just going to be best in slot for that elite spec, whatever you're playing, and then it kind of literally kills the whole idea that we were talking about earlier.
I don't think that's true for any current class relic, though. At least in World
Mhm.
versus. Like, is there any class where the best in slot rune for you
No,
is
but,
the
No.
class's rune?
but that's true. But you're
No.
you're swapping stats out for the stats that you want and having the zone essentially. I don't know
Even
what
if
to
you
call
didn't
it.
have the stats, are there any that you would actually want to run?
I can't think of any. I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
I would have to pull it up a list because it's been a hot minute.
Oh, maybe the Holosmith.
What's
Rune
the
of the
bonus on
Scourge?
Holosmith one?
Well, you find it. I'll read Rune of the Got it up. It's gain barrier when struck by a foe while below 75% health with a 75-second internal cool. Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible rune.
I mean, this
What's
is
it
why. Also,
called?
are they
What's the
doing? Are they
laser?
doing any balance? Are they doing any balance passes?
Initially, probably no, if
Probably.
I had to guess from previous experience, but I'm sure eventually it'll get balanced.
They're,
Maybe.
Because, like, for
they're gonna
example,
have
like,
to, right?
yeah, because like if they're gonna do that, because like for example, Superior Rune of the Ranger, granted it does give precision and ferocity. It's like if you have an active companion, you can put it on there.
Mm-hmm.
But so like I can take that slot and put it on my Mechanist, and I just have a 70% increase for my relic damage. Like that's incredibly good. I know that's not an elite, but it's like if you make the elites too good, then it's just they're always going to be used on that. Like, because like I think when they were making runes, like they would just like slap stuff on. But now because
Oh.
they can make relics like, and they can design just the relic on whatever it is. if you fully commit to just making it about that elite spec, you have the potential to make it just only use only I only want to use that one because it's really gonna help me if they lean into it too much. That's what I'm worried about if they do.
It's gonna bring up a lot of questions. It's gonna bring up a lot, and it will probably change things a lot. I am gonna kind of move on from this though because we are reaching an hour, and I don't want to hold you guys for too long. But I do.
I miss everybody, so I don't
kn-
care.
I know. I would literally
long.
stream for as long as you guys would let me if I could, but I do want to make sure that we do not take up too much time,
That's
right?
fine.
There's one more topic I really want to talk about, and that's what we've seen with the betas, what you guys have been thinking of the betas for alliances, what you guys think is the rough estimate of when we might be seeing it, because now we've actually seen we haven't actually seen the alliance system yet, right? It's all just been putting guilds onto the same servers, right? Or putting guilds, everyone in that guild who selected that thing onto the same server. We haven't actually seen, okay, this guild and this guild are partnered, we got to make sure they're on the same server yet, right? We haven't seen that system, correct?
Correct. We have not
Yeah.
seen any of the UI that is actually going to deal with the alliances system, or how alliances will be able to or how
Mhm.
guilds will be able to opt
Dude,
into
when
alliances.
when I was playing and streaming before I got sick, we were talking about this, and it's been a year, and it still hasn't
Yeah.
come out.
We have seen a lot of progress in it though. We've had several betas since then, right? And we see that there's less bugs, I guess, in terms of like the beta. I know Chef had a lot of bugs.
Literally could not play on Fridays
Literally.
because he got keep both nights. Yeah, that would be correct.
Yeah, but everyone seemed to actually get onto the same servers, which is something that hasn't happened in the previous betas, right? But yeah, the whole bug was where you couldn't get on both nights was kind of sad. It was tragic, Jeff. I'm not gonna lie.
What map are you on according to your friends list, and what map are you on according to the person who's standing in front of you is also still totally broken. Like, those systems do not disagree or do not agree.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have someone in your squad and you'll look at them on friends list and it'll say they're on a map that is not in your matchup. So that's probably not.
Also, not one of them.
Oh
Alliance.
no.
I
Nice.
seriously
Oh,
think that's gonna
wow.
be bugged for
I'm sure eventually they'll work it out, but
I feel like it's something
going
that's
on
like
it's coming out in January. There's no shot.
yeah, I highly, unless they've done some like magical tech, but they would definitely put it in a beta first before they tested it. I don't think I don't think it's gonna be flawless if it work at all by January.
Yeah. They've been struggling
It's on par with how they
in general, just
in
overall.
general.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're doing something. but
Yeah,
it's
that's why it's
very
so complicated.
broken.
It's because alliances got announced years and years and years,
Mm-hmm.
and then we saw nothing on it. And then eventually Grouch popped into Reddit and was like, "Hey, just FYI, there hasn't been an active dev team on alliances in 3 years."
No, it wasn't
But
even
this
that.
time we're definitely working on it.
It's because they fired everyone.
No.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't even that there wasn't even an active dev team on it ever. They put the idea out there and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we didn't actually follow through with it."
Oh,
Yeah.
Oopsie.
oopsie.
And then they were finally like, "Hey, we kind of realized you guys want this after all of the memeing that's been going on, so we're
Well,
actually going to put a team on
Who
it."
would have thought we would want alliances in overworld? I don't know. It's like a concept that's been there
Crazy
since
talk.
like the launch of, I think the launch or been in Dark Age of
Yeah.
Camelot's lifetime forever. Like the games that World of World was based on has it.
Yeah.
World v World's like the child that.
That's true. It's the image format of the 3 children in the pool. PvE is definitely the child being held up by
Oh yes.
World versus World is definitely the child struggling to keep its head underwater, and then PvP is definitely the skeleton at the
Yeah.
bottom of the
It's
No.
skeleton at the bottom of the. Definitely.
It's true.
But
I
it's
didn't
difficult for
play
them because
PvP.
the longer you've played World versus World, the less trust you have and probably should have in ANET's design philosophy for game mode.
Mm-hmm.
Because there has been a lot of burned trust. But I also think, by virtue of the fact that I've only played World versus 5 years instead of 11, um, which is still like a pretty long time, I guess, when you say it that way. I think we can also acknowledge that the current iteration of the World versus World dev team is doing a good job both with communication and deliverables.
Yep.
They're not
it's
moving
true.
Oh,
as fast as we
100%.
might like,
I
but
just want
Al
more
and Roy and the rest of them are
communication.
doing really
Straight
good.
up, literally, some communication and working is better than absolutely.
Which is what the World
Yeah.
versus World community received for literally years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Was
like,
absolutely nothing.
absolutely nothing. Did not.
Just
So it's
talk
good.
to us.
Is
We
it
would get
fast?
like
No.
we would get like we would get like the like crumbs of sometimes of like patch notes. Like we would hope and pray we get crumbs, like a bug fix or something, and like we don't almost always get nothing.
I know that.
And now it feels like it's almost gone to the opposite. Dev actively play the game.
Yeah, Grouch has
True.
been streaming World versus World lately.
True.
Grouch, like trying.
Also, like, not to toot my own horn, but I haven't actually plugged this yet. I made a video that covered the changes to the reward system in World versus World when that
Mhm.
patch came out. And I was streaming that night, or maybe it was the night after. There were only like 4 or 5 people in chat, and Grouch popped in and was like, "Hey, just wanted to say thanks for making that video."
Oh,
So
Yeah.
like they pay
Nice.
attention, and
They
it's
do.
not just they pay attention. They pay attention to people who only have like a couple hundred subs on YouTube and struggle to break 10 concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
not easy
I've
to
had
defend
Grouch
me.
do the same thing a couple of like months ago when I was still able to stream frequently. Besides health problems, like Grouch, I think I showed up in my stream once.
Yeah, so like they are paying attention and they're watching and listening to what the community says, even if that's not always being communicated, which are like strong organizational signs.
Yeah.
that's nice. That's
I'm
really
very
nice.
happy with it. Like it's like the beginning when I was talking about how I wished like World v World had like that equal gold amount. I'm still happy with how World v World is today. Like I'm very happy of the state of right now. It could be so much worse, right? Like it could be there could be nothing has happened and stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm very happy. Like it's so much better than it used to be.
Overall, things are looking up, and I feel like it's not just World versus World. It's the game as a whole in terms of communication has improved significantly, and their direction seems a lot more solid now. Because I mean, I know World versus World was definitely like the kid that was drowning in the pool, right? But the other endgame content, it was like endgame in general was that kid, right? Like SPVP, we're not going to talk about that, but raids too. Raids weren't getting
Fractals.
touched. Fractals weren't getting touched for this like long extended amount of time, and then strikes came out. Now strikes are kind of like the golden child, kind of, but like the whole endgame system was just neglected, and we knew nothing about it. And when we got news, it was literally like the day before the patch, we would get patch notes, and then it would go like pretty much silent after that until they decided, hey, actually we're gonna fill you in on this one thing. And so like the whole overall communication style and direction of ANET seems completely different compared to a year ago, or a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whenever they started to turn things around, which is really cool. It's not just World v World, but World v World is definitely like a significant, huge change.
Like
Yeah,
look at
it-
the
Go ahead, Camino.
look at the podcast. Like look at a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Look
Look
at
how
what we
Quietly
were
is
talking
doing.
about.
Let's talk about Quietly and how
Yeah.
well she's
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right, like let's look at what we were talking about back a year ago, a little year plus ago.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot has changed, and it's a lot of good things that we were hoping for. Right, we were like, I hope that this happens. I hope we get better rewards. I hope we get ways to get rid of useless currency that we just keep accumulating. That is just like, what am I doing with this? Why am I getting this? I don't need it anymore.
Speaking of
Like-
currency, They're adding in a new currency, you guys.
Oh, more currency because we just love it.
wait, yeah, they are.
What?
They're adding in more
For
currency.
the wizard, the wizard tower currency?
Yeah. Yeah. Because we don't have enough yet. We don't have enough
Ain't
currencies.
it love currency? Ain't its first thing is whatever they think about. It could be random thing, and it could be like, all right, for crafting relics, it's own currency. Everything gets a currency. You get a currency, and you get a currency. It's like
Ye-
Oprah handing out cars to people. It's no
Hey.
matter what feature it is in Guild Wars 2, there's a currency attached to it, whether you
True.
like it or not.
True.
Yeah. I mean, isn't gonna have like weekly things you can buy from
You mean like ass? Or weekly ass?
No.
I love
mean,
buying ass.
yeah, that too. But rewards, they'll have weekly
Yes.
rewards. That would change.
Basically, you know how WoW took Sky Skill from
Us?
us? We're taking vaults from WoW. Is literally what the
Will we
base
make them
towers.
better though?
Hey, Vault
Yeah,
kind of
basically.
don't, honestly. It was a fun system. No, if they could take the Mythic Plus system, which is like my
Oh,
favorite part of
100%.
playing Shadowlands, I'd have so much
Yeah.
fun.
I was kind of hoping that they would because they worded something like kind of particular in the website about how you like are in this thing and you're like ranking up with your friends and defeating even stronger rifts, and then
Oh yeah, that.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool if they do like a Palace of the Dead Final Fantasy type vibe or like
Dude,
whatever.
Palace of the Dead would be
Like,
a
that would be
roguelike Palace
frickin'
of the
so
Dead
cool.
in Guild Wars.
That could be
Sick.
cool, and maybe not have like 5 people.
Wait, you
you
have
know.
friends?
I have
That light.
oh,
Look
yeah.
at you over here with more than 5 friends. Jeez,
imagine?
There's some for the rest of
Wow.
us.
Yeah, can you share or
I- Yeah. Well, I have to convince them all to come.
oh, okay.
Aw,
That's
that's
understandable. That's
So I
understandable.
guess I don't have guild.
They're just sleeping right now.
They're
I-
okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
at least
know
you
guys
have
know
friends. I
something.
don't even have 5 friends. I've got a cat.
You have a
That's-
cat.
I have a
That's,
though.
cat.
more
He
important than
doesn't play-
anything.
I have an octopus that stares at me.
What is like the TikTok? Because my girlfriend isn't like that. Like it's like bombastic side eye or whatever. or whatever.
Bombastic side eye.
Yeah, that's what the octopus is 24/7 to you.
Pretty much.
I agree. The what Edith William. Yeah, you need to use currency, and then you need to use currency to use other currency, and then more
True.
currency.
Yeah.
At least they condensed the Iceberg Saga.
Yeah,
Or
they
at
saved
least
their
the
nice
champion.
crystals.
God, all those
Some of them
crystals.
the champions
are so
currency. And
annoying.
Tales of Dungeon Delving now.
Yeah,
But
Mhm.
that too.
No,
you guys
Mhm.
not
That's
like
pretty good.
you guys not like having a specific portion of a
No.
map currency, and then you go into another map and it's a completely different
No, I
currency?
don't.
You know
Honestly,
what?
Controversial take. If it goes into my wallet, I do not give a shit. I don't care if
Actually,
it's 1,
true.
10, or
That's
100.
true.
If I don't have to look at it unless I click the little button with coins on it, I do
Exactly.
not care.
You know
I mean,
what?
personally,
want
to me,
In
I
theory, that's a
care
problem.
because I would like if I'm doing EOD content, sure, have EOD currency, but I
Mhm.
don't want to have to go into a specific map just
that
to
is
get that
true.
currency, and then go into another map to go farm that currency. Can I just
They
farm
should.
it all in whatever map I want to
I would
farm it
like
in?
to go into the wallet because that crap. That's just like the fractal encryption
Yeah.
basic thing.
Also, when are they going to put Gift of Battle into the material storage? Because I'm tired of it taking up
Oh,
space
please.
in my bank.
Can I? Yeah, can
Or
I just
Tomes
like?
of
Battle
Knowledge?
material.
Can
Oh
I
my
just?
god, yeah.
Can I just sell gift of battles if I don't need them to get
No,
more,
you
to get better
can't.
things?
You're not allowed. It's
Oh,
a
I'm not
purple,
allowed.
It's a purple item. Purple item you can sell is
Yeah.
Got
No,
it.
We
you can
all
sell
need to
any
sell our
legendary,
ass.
too. Those are purple.
Just sell ass. All right, got it. Can we make gift of battles like ass?
Never gets old.
never gets old.
And it's so
Uh.
good.
God, the first thing like I remember when that like was around was like literally people in chat just spamming want to buy ass, want to buy ass, want to buy ass.
Yeah, you got to get your daily ass, man.
You have to
It's
get it.
important. It's like
I mean,
daily wood, right? Got to get
Yeah.
the lumber, man.
Yeah.
I also thought it was a nice change that they added some ass to Suwon. So like now when you go to Dragon's End or whatever, you can get a little bit of ass when you do Suwon.
Gotta get that dragon's ass.
God.
Dragon's ass is great.
Speaking of dragon, new Jade bot is.
It
The
is.
fat dragon, yeah.
Yeah, but the
Mm.
only thing, this is a bug that ArenaNet needs to fix. It sounds like a mini Jade robot. They need to make it have cute dragon noise.
They
If
should.
it does, do they still cost an arm and a leg basically? Or like,
They
like $20?
This one is locked in the Black
It's locked
Lion
into
chest,
the-
so you have to gamble
Yeah.
to get this one.
I
Oh,
gambled
it's even
and
better.
I got it.
That's even-
Gambled and I got it.
All right, how much did
Oh.
you gamble?
Bucks.
Oh, okay, that's
Lucky.
Bailey, can you ban Lynn, please?
I'm banning Lynn.
What?
Never want to see that word again.
that's Sue Wussy. Oh my god. Hell
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Oh no.
Reported.
Oh
Sue
god, I don't want to see. I
PK.
just got my brain just clicked with what that meant. No thanks.
Want
I
to
don't
buy
want-
Sue Wussy, please.
No. No.
I hate to break it to you about the Jadebot noises coming from the Jadebot, but it's still like a Jadebot at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a Jade-Tech hologram or whatever that makes it look like a fat
True.
dragon.
But if you
Actually a
have it,
fat
if
dragon,
you have
it's a
it as
soulless
a mini,
machine.
I know, but you have it as a mini, and you have a different skin, it makes the noises of that different skin. And this one doesn't.
It's the only
So
one
they-
that does. Maybe they just didn't. They
didn't
just
know the other skins
decided it
did it.
needs to
The
make the
other
robot
skins
noise.
do it. Well, that makes
Oh.
me really sad because it's a cute little magic.
I mean, listen, you shouldn't be complaining. You got it with gambling for $20.
True.
All right.
True.
They did. You know what?
You-
You're
You could have spent $100 on that thing, and then bought 3 expansions worth of content for gambling for a little.
yeah, I
Fat
know.
dragon.
I mean, I
If
guess
there's
I can say
anything,
that.
there's anything we've learned here today, it's that when you go to the casino, you should take Z with you.
True.
Yeah,
True.
100%. coming with me.
I guess you're right. I did. I also got the bank thing from the Black Lion
What
Chest
the
one time.
Wait,
Oh
did
my
you? What the-
god!
Yeah.
What the heck?
I was literally. I just bought 25 keys randomly one time, and I spammed. I spam clicked them to open. I wasn't even paying
See,
attention.
when are we going to Vegas?
Dude, I was cursed since birth. That's it. Like, I just straight up just with my cystic fibrosis, I was just cursed at birth. I don't get good RNG, and then I look at Z and it's like I just bought 25 keys and I got
The bank.
2,000 gold for nothing. Woo!
Yeah, but when I go to metas, I know I have
Oh,
to
that's
spend
horrible.
real money.
Sorry that
So you
happened to you
get
or
what?
whatever.
Like, okay, Arena.
That's like saying, yeah, I got a bunch of gambling stuff, but I just never gotten a chalk infusion. So it's just I'm not lucky. I don't know.
I'm not
I don't know what
lucky.
you're talking
No.
about.
That's all
Just
I
like the
want.
rest of you.
Okay.
I'm just like the rest of you. Okay,
I'm
I'm
just
gonna
a
go
normal
open up. I'm
girl.
gonna go open up my my World v World chest and get nothing really comparatively. So I'll go cry. It's all right.
Oh, no.
I'll gamble with that.
Okay.
I'll
That's
gamble
fine.
and try to get the high. What is it? The highest in there is like worth 30 silver, 40 silver.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you
the
get the
highest-
infusion out of it.
You get the
Yeah.
infusion.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You get. How much
That's
is
why
the
people are
infusion worth?
bad at all.
Even-
I don't think the one you get out of the box is tradable.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
is
think it
that-
is.
Wait.
What?
The one you get out of the box, but
And
the
I
one
believe
that you
the one
buy
you get out of the
is.
box is account bound, but if you get it to drop
What?
from a Keepler, that's the one you can sell.
That's the one. Oh my. What about the
Why do
one
you
you
get the
can buy
weapons from the box?
currency?
Yeah, you get the new weapon skin.
Do you get the new weapon skins from the box?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
okay, that makes it a little bit better then. That makes it a little
Wait,
bit
You get
better.
weapons, too.
Yeah.
Wait, what are the weapons called again?
I forget what they're
I
called. I don't
totally
have the
didn't
box on
even
me to check
see.
right now.
Totally didn't even see the new.
Yeah, there's new weapon skins.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like the red and gold boxy?
Oh no, it's not the War Machine. It's a separate skin.
So
Oh,
I,
They
this,
actually
I,
look good.
now,
So, ANET has a thing with like making weapon skins that look high fantasy and are super glowy. These are not
True.
it. They look like actual real world weapons. Makes them very cool.
they
Okay.
went realistic.
You mean
Oh, I
you
have to see.
don't turn into a pixel blob when you put them on?
I do not know.
That's
I'm
big.
kind of different. I'm not like the other boys. I just want to look like a normal guy.
But I
He's
want
trying to
my
look like a normal
char
person?
to
True.
Exactly.
True.
It's
Speaking
not the
of all
war
this-
machine.
all this stuff. So it's been a year. I haven't been on camera, and so I'm gonna complain about it in hopes that ain't it some way, shape, or form. Ain't it? I love you. I want to support you.
That's not a complaint. That's
Okay.
a compliment.
Can you please stop fucking making everything green and red? For the
Oh,
love of
Oh no.
Yeah.
Christ. Like,
That
I
is
played the
true.
new Fractal today, and I couldn't see anything. It was all gray. The whole shit was gray. I turned off post-processing, and it was still gray. Can you please fucking stop using red and green on everything you do? From
Brother
the
in Christ, it's called the Jade Sea, not the Tangerine Sea. What did you expect?
and everything. It doesn't even
Just
have to be
color.
EOD. We went to jungle, and then it was like, well, all right. I still
Green.
can't
True.
see it.
You have Path of Fire,
So sorry.
kind of.
Yeah, Path of Fire is my
Great.
only
No.
expansion.
The only
The color
one.
scheme new expansion is like yellowy
Yellow.
and stuff. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, maybe.
Woo.
And the palace looks pretty yellow and white.
The
It'll be
palace is
fine.
white and
No,
yellow.
I can't wait to go into the palace, and it's just great.
Painted before the expansion pack came out.
Just a huge freaking garden in the middle. You can't see anything in it.
Oh God.
Help me. So terrible. I can't see anything when I play this. It hurts.
I'm
Oh.
sorry.
It's even like the only good thing that ANET did in the new Fractal to make it easy is because like one of the if anybody here has played the new Fractal, one of the AoEs that the boss throws out is his giant axe and it lands. But so I can see the giant axe, but then I can't see anything else. Everything blends in, and it was literally the hardest thing I've ever like. It felt like I'd done until I got the pattern down. Like it
Mhm.
was.
Actual serious question. Do you have hide ally visual effects set to hide all? Because there's
Ooh.
still a bug.
Yes,
where
I did too. I turned it
hide
off
visual
when I
effects
was
will
told that.
hide mechanics from.
Yeah, that was
yeah,
big. That was big.
I turned it off because of that, basically.
Do you think?
And I still couldn't. Then I was told turn post processing off,
No,
which
no, if you-
helped, and it still didn't. But it didn't help enough.
If
Still
you turn
everything
hide
was-
ally visual effects off, it hides the mechanics from you. Like, you know, on
Yeah.
Thamrock, there's a green circle that appears around you and a friend. If you're running hide all ally visual effects, it does
Mhm.
not show you that green circle, and you just like screw
Uh-oh.
your friends.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering when ANET is going to fix that
very
because
good.
it kind of breaks raid content in general because you can't see like the Matthias spread mechanic. You just kind of you just kind of int
See a
into
lot.
you just kind of int into your like teammates. You don't see like any of that stuff. It's absolutely great. It's so good. It's so good.
It's just it's such old code that make them just creating a new.
Guild Wars
Fix
3,
it.
anyone?
Yeah, Guild Wars 3.
Yeah,
but it's
girl,
just
Guild Wars
the,
3, please.
it's-
And
it's
put it
just
on Unreal Engine.
rehashing of Guild Wars 2 and it looks better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would take it, honestly. I mean, listen, it's better than what Overwatch did.
Remastered.
Because Overwatch is like, hey, it's a brand new game. We're slapping a 2 on it. By the way, the content we were giving you doesn't exist.
And we're not going to create it.
The Tango expansion? Yeah, I don't know if they're ever gonna touch that.
I don't think they
I was
will.
really
Expansion.
hoping I was really hoping that they would let us have a new race we could be because I want to be a bird.
I
Yeah,
was
I would be a
actually
Tengu,
I was talking to
but it's
someone
not
about
happening.
that, and they were like, they're never going
No,
to do
under what?
Tengu because they can't even get char helmets right. So how are they going to do Tengu?
Hell no.
How are
But
they going to do
that's
Tengu?
a fair criticism. Have you looked at the
It's fair.
pigeon Tengu boys that just have the enormous fluffy white head? You're never getting a helmet on that.
You're never.
I would never want to put a helmet on. So
Also
cute.
true.
Look
Yeah,
how cute he-
Tengu died when Antha, I feel like I don't
Yeah.
think it's happening. I seriously
Yeah.
doubt it. It's
unless
over.
unless
They
like
need to be a pigeon.
true. The only thing I can possibly see them doing is if we somehow go behind that wall in Lion's Arch and get to go into that like Tengu area that's been locked off since the game
Ever.
started, and we finally get to see like back there. But other than that,
Yeah, it's gonna
I
be
don't
a
think it's
single
gonna happen,
room
guys.
because it's gonna be a single room, and
Mhm.
it's just gonna be like, oh hi, it's just the 4
Yeah.
Tengu that live here.
Like 5 Tengu playing poker in a room by
Do
themselves.
they threaten you not get too
Yeah, no.
Tengu and Courtier are kind of assholes.
They're
Yeah.
kind of mean about it. It's like, I have a sky skill. What if I just like fly above your giant wall? What,
That
shoot
is
me down?
I agree. I was still upset about that. As Guild Wars 1 player, that there's no
Mhm.
ritualist, there's no dervish, there's no paragon.
Well, maybe in the
I'm
future.
still really upset about. I mean, no, because there's not going to be no elite specs. No way they
For
can
this
do it.
expansion.
For this
I don't
expansion.
think they're done with elite
expansion.
specs entirely. I think they just realized that they can't do elite specs every expansion.
Yeah.
I
Just
mean, the
imagine-
problem though is that it how do I explain this? I guess they can't really do it because the whole reason why they're like, yeah, we can't do it is because they're gonna run themselves like imagine another round of elite specs. Like already the balance is
That's gonna
out
be
of this world,
for- That's
right?
gonna
Like
be I think
Yeah, it'd be
they
too
did a
much.
smart job with not giving us. It's like you only have so many weapons, and just imagine the poor people who this game like a year from now, and it's like, oh, there's 5 elite. What? And you
What?
only-
What if
next expansion, what I want trait reworks, and I want
Mm.
spears to not be underwater weapons anymore, and I want them to be mainland weapons.
that would be cool?
That's the design
You can use
space.
a
It's just waiting
spear
to be
on
open.
the land. That would be very. Have that really pretty water speed.
True. What if instead they did something like what Final Fantasy does and they just release a class, like just a singular class in an expansion, right? Like Final Fantasy released, what was it, like Reaper or something like that. I don't play Final Fantasy. I don't know. But they just released like one singular thing that you could like level up, and they didn't have, and then they could add like an elite spec onto that the next expansion instead, like one for each
Hmm.
armor class. But still, that would add a lot of freaking balance for them, right? Like it would be a lot.
Honestly, I could see them adding 3 new quote unquote elite specs, one for each armor class, where there's like
Mhm.
a heavy elite spec, a medium elite spec, and a light elite spec, and any profession that can use the
Oh,
armor
yeah.
could spec into it. So it's not like a
Mhm.
necro elite spec, it's like a light armor elite.
That could be
It's a
interesting.
possibility.
Yeah.
That could be. Um.
I mean, yeah, that would really go around like where everyone's playing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't, because you'd have different weapon skills on individual classes
Because then you have
and
the
individual
relics
utility
too, right?
skills to pair with the elite spec mechanic.
Well, yeah, but then that also would feel terrible if I needed a weapon that was a really, really good and my class did not have it.
Yeah, tough.
That's how it is
that's
right now.
that's a frustration.
Wow,
That's
so the
literally
other
how the
char- the
game
other
is right
elite spec-
now.
I don't
Wow,
think
that
you,
Necro
I don't
has
think you
that-
do either.
Scepter. Cry, because I don't have it.
Yeah. Honestly, imagine not having that weapon when all weapons are going to be unlocked on every class soon. Mesmer rifle,
You
I
see
am
Mesmer's gonna have a
coming.
rifle?
I
Oh
am
my God, I
coming,
can't
Mesmer
wait.
rifle.
I really like. I'm scary to make right now, and I really like between greatsword, shield, and rifle. I just don't know which one.
You got to do
Great sword.
rifle for Mesmer. Easy.
Ellie
I-
long.
Ellie
I-
long will
have kudzu.
win.
I have
True.
kudzu there. Already.
I already got my legendary. My favorite legend I got when Mechanist boot.
Moot.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I love the disco ball. It's my favorite.
Ipos?
Even though
I wanna make
my
an
Mechanist doesn't
Ipos.
use a mace now because it's depressing, but
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. All right,
Depression.
guys, we're gonna wrap it up. I would like, we kind of derailed into like general Guild Wars 2 stuff, but that seems to happen every time we record. We just do it off screen
Yeah.
usually. So guys, you gotta see behind the scenes. Say chat. Feels good. Closing statements. I would like to know your guys' thoughts on World versus World right now, and one of the most pressing things you think they need to change in World versus World in the future. Go. Anyone.
Alliance, please. Thank you. Overworld's is in a good
Yeah.
spot. It can be better. We can get. I hope they keep adding some more rewards and keep giving life to it. For the love of God, please get this alliance system. Like that's what I want. That's yeah, that. Oh, and fix Firekeep. Yeah, that too.
What's
Yeah,
wrong
what
with
Windland said.
Oh, you haven't looked at the Firekeep minimap lately?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was,
Oh wait,
It was pointed
that's-
out to me. Yeah, it was pointed out to me the
Yeah.
other day, and I was
for
like,
a year and a half or so.
That's fine.
it's a flaw on the map. It's
Listen,
fine.
Lynn, I hope that Alliance is fixing game mode, okay? Listen, I hope. We've been promised it for years. I just want it to come out. It'd be functional.
The functionality is going to be the key thing.
I don't know if that's happening.
All right, who else is closing? I'm saving mine for last so I can take the hard one.
Oh,
First.
Oh
okay.
boy.
Happy with where the classes. Is there any way we can some way to
Ooh, for
Yeah.
for GVGs, yeah, that would be
y'all are
nice.
killing me with turn taking with
Or why don't we just have a GB?
They can make
True.
a GVG map.
Didn't one of
Yeah.
the recent blog posts say they were thinking about applying World versus World rules to guild halls so you could finally GVG in a guild hall?
Oh, thank God! I would
Oh.
hope so.
Read that correctly
Please.
or not?
That's the real answer.
It's possible I could have misread. Don't get excited.
If that's the case.
I think that was community speculation. I don't know if that was actually said they were going to put it in the guild hall, but I do remember there being like a rumor floating around they were going to implement something in terms of like having an arena for GVGers, but I don't know if it's a popular enough game mode for them to actually do that, right? Because like
Well, Roy's a GVGer, so
I mean, yeah, but see, the problem is that just like with a lot of games, they have this like self-fulfilling downward spiral, and then they use that to justify it. Like
yeah,
you give no help to a game mode, nothing is gonna happen. You're just gonna get less and less players to show up. Like if you don't make it easy for players to GVG, how are they gonna GVG? Hell, getting into the GVG scene was hard for me when I started to do it
True.
last year.
yeah.
with Roy around on the dev team, I bet that he has an eye on it. Got a pretty GVGer.
Yeah, that will definitely help. But you know, there's that famous quote from Grouch, and I think it was like a Guild Wars 2 stream, right? And someone was like, "Help raids," and Grouch was like, "We're helping popular game modes." So that's kind of like the approach I'm taking with everything at the moment. If it's not popular, I'm like, honestly, I don't think ANET is gonna touch it, which is unfortunate. It's incredibly unfortunate.
Even if they do the guild hall thing, that would be insane because that'd be so
Yeah.
much easier.
Yeah.
That'd be like 10 out of 10. That would like
It would
just do that. Just make guild halls instead of PvE World for World, and you're golden.
the big thing would be they would need to rebalance what guild halls would balance to, right? Because right now guild halls are considered PvE, so it's PvE balance. It's the same with like when you go into the arena in a guild hall and try to PvP, it's not based on your PvP builds or PvP stats, right? It's based on it's based on PvE stuff. So you're getting your PvE guild or your PvE gear, your PvE runes, your PvE sigils, weapons, all of that stuff, and it's not based on PvP at all. So they would have to rebalance guild halls altogether, or maybe just like specific instances of the guild hall in the arena where you can like assign it world v world stats and then do it all based off of that. But it would be
I
something
mean,
they
I
need
don't
to
know if
consider.
it's a code thing. Because
Yeah.
if it's a code thing, then if it's just changing the instance to World for World, it should automatically do. Just
It's
making that
probably
instance
more
World for World.
complicated to do that. Like I'm
Mhm.
sure
Yeah.
there's probably a way to set up some kind of gizmo that you make as a scribe that lets you select the balance type that you want to have present in the guild hall. And on the back end, it just changes like the kind of instance that it is. But
Mhm.
it must be harder than that because that seems like it'd be relatively.
Well, we say relatively easy, and then you know they implement a patch and break all of raids altogether, and so like I think it's like there's a lot that we aren't considering when it comes to like the coding of Guild Wars 2. I know people say spaghetti code all the time, but there's got to be something going on that's holding them back from being able to do this kind of stuff,
I mean,
which sucks.
yeah.
Which sucks.
I mean, to be fair, isn't this game built on Guild Wars 1?
The original engines, right? It's like just built off of that or whatever. Like
I'm almost
Yeah,
positive.
it's old.
It's
Yeah.
all built on Guild Wars 1. So it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay.
coding is wild. I used
It
to do it.
Would
Terrible.
do be wild.
Yeah.
Like-
I
It
can't
is.
believe nobody's asked ChatGPT to just like, you know,
Fix World v World.
fix World v World.
Just fix
write me
it.
Python code that makes alliances
How-
work
how
in
easy
popular
can-
MMO
you know.
Guild Wars 2.
content.
Fix it.
It's a good
Chat GBT, how to make
so-
alliances in Guild Wars 2. Can you write the code for it, please? That would be amazing.
that would be good. That would be good. All right. Closing statements. We have 2 people left? Or
Yeah.
3 people left?
I said, Car, you've already done. You said,
Yeah, I already went.
okay, and Chef, you want to go last.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, I mean, no. I guess the biggest thing is also I also want. It's not, but I want it to. You know, I can dream to have.
True.
Like me
Imagine
having a
dreaming.
cure for my cystic fibrosis. I know.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing we can dream about.
Yeah, yeah. Um. Oh
There's
my
dark
god.
humor in there.
You're doing
It's
great, Z. Don't
fine.
worry.
No,
It's
no,
gonna
I
happen.
like. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Alliances and a cure for cystic fibrosis.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Exactly.
And then I guess anything they just keep kind of tweaking and getting feedback from the reward system. I think they're definitely well on their way. It feels really good to play World v World and accomplish the goals, and then the little pop-ups. Oh, here's 4 gold. I'm like,
8
boy.
gold.
And like,
Yeah.
oh, here's 8 gold. If you get to that point,
I don't know if I get to
so
that point either. I got you.
I didn't get to that point. I only got 4 gold.
F.
But yeah, I know.
F to put
So
gold.
like maybe the gold it could be it's just a teensy bit more. World v World people also like
Yeah.
We're
do.
not
But
allowed
yeah.
to make gold. We're above
No, we're not allowed to
gold,
be. We're not
okay?
allowed to
even if
be
you
as
are
equivalent
allowed
as.
to make gold, it's gonna take you 5 hours, whereas PvE or PvP 30 minutes.
You're drip fed
But
the
it's
gold.
fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Personally, I think we should eat the rich. I'm fine with not having gold.
Eat the barons.
But how
Barons,
does-
we're coming
yeah.
for you. We are coming for you. Give us the gold.
But yeah, that's I just like that they looking at World v World hating with telling us what they're thinking, not just
All right. Jeff, lead us off with the fiery hot take. Or the
Is
hard
this your
take.
There's
third
not
and
too bad.
last hot
No.
take?
I'm only getting 2 in. I do like which is it's a pretty easy time to be optimistic about World. It's not perfect, but there are a lot of design changes that are in the pipeline that are looking good. But my
I'm-
takeaway is actually a concern rather than backpatting, and that
Mhm.
is that there's been a lot of these balance changes lately, which are nice and warranted, but it's becoming more difficult lately with some of these balance changes to take and win outnumbered fights, which I think is one of the times where World versus shines as a game mode, where you can feel like you're up against the odds, and
Mhm.
if you can just play that little bit better and spike that little bit harder, that you can pull out a tough victory against an enemy that outnumbers.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that that's something that they have on their radar, balance-wise, to give people to make those fights easier. Because I think it's one of the big selling points to get people into the game mode, to go, wow, it's crazy that we just pulled that fight off. That was really cool.
I mean,
That's
I
my
agree.
I
takeaway.
agree.
The only problem is that it's hard to balance that, because if you have the tools to do that, you also have the tools to do that when a bigger group. And so
Not-
it's
Not always. I think that Spellbreaker Dome, when it actually prevented boons being applied at all, is a really good example of a skill that a smaller group could use to break a large.
Yeah.
Because if you were more careful about your timing and you were more coordinated with your bomb inside that dome, you could really swing a numbers advantage very well.
true. It's just that if you have a larger number advantage, you have more domes to more possibilities to do that to just break the smaller.
Yeah.
Group.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to
It's
like.
hard, yeah.
How do you? Unless we're
I'm-
doing something like where you get buffs depending on how big your group size
No,
is.
that's such
No,
a
Yeah,
lazy
I mean-
that'd be
solution. It
terrible,
should
though.
never do
Yeah.
scaling HP buffs
Exactly.
like they did in WoW or whatever.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's like you always have more people. you always have that advantage. It's hard to give advantage to somebody that like I don't know how to answer that question. I don't even know if Aiden knows that question.
I hope they try and figure it out because it's one of the things that got me into the game mode, and I think it's one of the things that can get a lot of people back into it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, for all the
I
roamers
don't think
out
that was
there.
a hot take though.
No, I don't think it was a
honestly.
hot take. It was
Yeah,
it was,
I think
it was
that
a
was- that
hard
was-
take.
It was concerned.
That was
Yeah.
a,
It was
nor-
like a
that was
normal
a
take.
good take. Yeah, it was a good
that was
take.
a good take because
Yeah.
I
How's
that?
remember. I know how that feels. It's small groups, of course, always have to like think a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more differently when you do their bomb. Like portal bomb on a bigger group when you're the smaller group is always a
Yep.
beautiful sight to see when it is done correctly. That could be a way to murder a larger group. But yeah, you're
Mm-hmm.
right.
Because
Figuring
like
that
you
out
know,
would
the
be
larger
nice.
group also has portal bomb, and hell, they have even more to do it, right? You know,
They could
it's-
if they have if they have that mesmers.
I mean, a group that has more people should usually win a fight. A group
Yeah.
that has more coordinated players should usually win a fight. But I'd like to see the space between those two be a little
skill.
more
the strength. I
fleshed
agree.
out.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I just I don't have the answer for it. I have to sit there and think because
Yeah,
I
it's
do
a
game
good-
design, so it's like I'm actually interested in trying to figure that puzzle out myself.
That's a good conversation piece.
Yeah, it is. But anyway, I'm gonna actually call it there. We've said our closing statements. Actually, I should probably have you guys all like close out with who you actually are. I didn't add that in there, but hey, thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciated it. This was fun. I missed chatting with all of you guys. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a minute since I've recorded any Say Chat episodes, and I miss just sitting down and just ensuing pure chaos discussions with all of you because it always, for some reason, turns into pure chaos at some point, which is fun. Which is a lot of fun. So, guys.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, it was good. Maybe we'll do it again soon. Maybe I'll do another live session soon if you guys are down. I like just sitting and
Sure.
chatting. Maybe after the
Yeah.
next patch, or
Ooh,
maybe
yeah.
not.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
After
maybe
next
we'll-
patch
maybe-
sounds good.
Maybe we'll start
Give
doing.
it like a week after patch.
Yeah, maybe.
Give it like a week
patch
so that we have like we can sit there and go, yeah,
Yeah.
like this is what's like really wrong, and this is like because they might have fixed it. It's like the thing here. It's like yesterday. Was it yesterday that it came out where they were like, we're buffing, or is it 2 days ago? Where they
The
where they,
scourge
said-
buffs or whatever.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they're adding.
Yes, they are. They're re-looking at the scourge stuff, so that's gonna be cool. But maybe in the future we'll see. I'll talk to you guys about it in Discord probably in our chat, so that'll be cool. And maybe we can get some of the others in here too, like Azure. He's coming back to the game, and I would love to have him on to come and chat with everyone. He's a freaking hoot. Anyway, guys, everyone in the chat, make sure you go follow these people. Some of them are content creators, some of them are chefs of content creators. Kamina wants to return to streaming. I don't know if you will be at any point, but go.
Hopefully soon, relatively soon.
Yeah, go ahead and check out them guys. And yeah, follow my socials to hear about it. I'll update if we do end up going live with Say Chat again. Let's close out. You guys can say who you are, plug any of your socials if you want to plug any of your socials, and then we're done for today. So go ahead. If you guys want to plug socials or say your in-game names, if people want to get into contact with you, go ahead, go for it. If not, just your name and goodbye, I guess.
I'm Chef Plays Games. I'm so special that I have a shout out command in the channel that I'm gonna go type in now.
Oh my god.
Do you really?
Wow.
Do you have your own
He's
shout-out
he's
campaign in
just
this?
shouting it out.
Oh.
He's shouting it out.
Look at that.
Are you allowed to?
Do we need power?
I don't think you have permissions to use it,
Never mind, I'm
but
not
Uh-oh.
that special. I was just kidding about all that. I'm a normal guy.
but
The
I-
shout
I will
the
shout
shout
out
out
for you.
master.
I need an adult to do it for me.
The shout out master doesn't have the shout out powers.
Quite insulted personally. But it's
Oh.
okay.
Like, yeah, oof. That's the biggest oof. Thought you had power and you didn't. And
Hey,
you're
there
like,
it is.
aw.
There you go.
Horrible.
Also
got
do
it.
this one. Mina, go ahead. Or Chef, are you done
Yeah.
plugging yourself, or you want to plug your
That's it.
YouTube
That's
too?
the
Or...
whole thing. I'm plugging myself. I am pretty plugged up
I
right
think
now.
that was a pretty good plug.
I think it was. I think
Steph, do you feel plugged?
Feel
Like,
so plugged right now.
you feel
my God.
plugged? Yeah, he do.
PG stream, y'all.
Is it? Used to me.
Stay chat after
Yeah.
dark, anyone?
Oh,
Say chat
baby.
nights.
Okay,
But
Kamina.
yeah, I'm hoping to uh, just follow, or I'll let everybody else friends with every stuff. They'll probably, hopefully, barring any, please knock on wood, any more problems. Love of health. I don't need any more hell.
Knock on wood, definitely.
Yeah.
We need Kamina back in World v World, everyone.
I also want to help the PvP community too, because I really wanted to get into casting.
True.
Hoping.
I heard
I'm
there's
just really
spot
hoping.
opened up in the PvP.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to just, but it's just like I gotta take care of health, and I don't want to start and then be like, well, I'm gone again for another, 3 months
Mm,
Yeah.
plus.
That
I don't
makes
want to do
sense.
that to people. I don't want to. Wish me the best. That's about it. Rather have these guys get shout outs and get all the attention.
Okay. Our
Lovely
two
people.
remaining guests. One would like to go. Say our
Oh,
goodbyes.
hi, I'm Sarah, and I have nothing to plug.
And I'm also just a player. I'm the Z captain. Yeah.
Big.
I'm a firebrand.
Oh, you're the Scourge. Never mind. Well, Scourge actually is the class. I can't say that. You are the thing I hate the most in Firebrand.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's
I
Anet's
know.
fault.
It is your
I-
fault. You should feel bad.
It's Anet's fault.
I'm just so good at it.
The
Every
ironic
time
part.
someone says that boons are a problem, they're talking about you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were too
Not
OP.
in my subgroup. Not in my subgroup.
I hate it because it's like I'm forced to use Firebrand. I don't want to use it, but it's like, and then what's even worse is that we don't have Firebrand. Like,
Yeah, now you feel bad, don't you?
yeah, because it's so
Yeah.
good that you have to play it, and then nobody plays it, and you're like, well, I guess I'm screwed.
Yep.
That do be how it is. All right. I think that's everyone. Guys, I'm Quietly. I didn't plug myself. Hi, I'm Quietly. You can follow
That's
my
your stream.
Oh,
socials.
you like plugging
Yeah.
yourself, don't you, quietly?
I do.
Hey
I do
now.
like plugging myself since this is actually my stream. I didn't know if you guys knew that, but it is. You can
Really?
join my Discord. If you join, all of the announcements for Say Chat in the future will be there. I'm going to try to be a lot more consistent when it comes to Say Chat in the future. I want to get a lot more Say Chat podcasts either live, because this was actually a lot of freaking fun. I enjoyed it a lot. And on YouTube too, where the main podcast actually is. You can check it out if you haven't checked it out. Season 3. Yeah, season 3 soon. I'm actually looking for some more female commander guests. So if you guys know anything or know anyone in terms of female commanders for World vs. World, please have them get in touch. I want to do a female
Wait.
commander only season next season. We're going to be
You could be-
discussing. Yeah.
Are you
Covered them.
girls video games?
It's true.
No,
Yeah.
no, we don't exist at
Yeah.
all,
What?
actually.
Literally
Girls
just said I
girls
played fire.
are only a myth. We don't exist at
Only
all.
a myth.
Yeah.
Like,
We
we
don't.
don't-
I don't think girls exist.
Definitely.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't exist, and we definitely don't play
Listen, if
video
there
games.
was if there was a girl here, this whole chat would just be like, girl.
Yeah, true,
Girl.
true.
girl,
That's
yeah.
true.
It's true. Yeah, exactly. E-girls or I-ladies? Big question. Also,
I-ladies?
big.
I ladies?
I lady. I've never heard of an I lady.
What the
I'm gonna call every single e-girl now I lady.
lady? It's the new Apple
I lady. I need to buy a female. Where can I buy a female? I'm so
Oh,
fucking lonely.
God.
Help.
It's
Oh,
like
God.
that video game.
Oh, freaking near all the lady robots. All right, guys. Before this derails even more, before this, I'm gonna end it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Follow my socials. I'll announce when we're doing Say Chat Live next, or when the next episode of Say Chat. But give me female commanders. I need you, please. Like, thank you. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. This is the end of Say Chat Live. I don't know if you guys want to wave and say goodbye or what. But yeah.
I'll wave, yes.
Watch you watch the VOD. Big.
There's my cat,
Actually, it'll
hold
go
on.
on YouTube also, so
Bye.
watch the YouTube video when it comes out.
Are you in the
Anyways,
stream? Wait, here you go. There you go.
there's
Oh,
the cat.
here's the most important part.
That's what we gotta
Meow.
close on. Anyways,
Oh, that's cute.
goodbye,
love it.
guys. We'll see you next
Goodbye.
time.
Bye.
Peace out.